Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of the Jared James Today Show. Let me start off by saying, like I've said on so many of these, thank you so much. You guys are obviously loving these shows. If you're watching this right now, do me a favor, especially if you're watching it on YouTube, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, leave a comment, let me know what you liked about it, and make sure to subscribe to my channel because I think you're going to see there's these types of trainings which are very worthwhile and helpful for you. And at the same time, we have other things too, some behind the scenes things. We have a day in the life of Jared James, which I think you'll really enjoy. Go check that out. Super cool that you see some of the behind the scenes. So I love that you're watching. Thank you so much. And on today's episode, I'm going to cover something that is crucial really to any business, but for the purposes of who I'm mainly talking to right now, let's talk about your real estate business. And today we're going to talk about systems and processes and infrastructure and how that works and why it's so important. And the funny thing is, so many of you watching right now, you know it's important, just so many of you aren't actually taking the time to implement. You know, at the time that I'm shooting this, it's technically mid-year, if you look at the 12-month calendar year for your business. And this is a time when we really, with almost all of our students, well, really all of our students, we do kind of a mid-year review. And we look at their goals and their business plans, and we say, where are you? And we start measuring and tracking and saying, where do you need to be? And when we're doing that, it's not just a financial thing. You know, I want you to understand that when we start talking about systems and processes and these things, the impact on you is not just financial. And while financial is 100% extremely important, and we're going to talk about that, you have to also understand that when you don't have systems and processes within your business, it's not just a financial hit that you take, it's also a hit on your level of health, okay? When you don't have systems and processes, and so many of you know what I'm talking about right now, you find yourself stressed out more than you need to be because you're constantly recreating things and it causes stress, okay? Now, not all stress is bad. You know, it's like this catch-22 thing. Stress was actually designed for your body in the short term to be a good thing. When you have stress, this releases hormones, it increases your heart rate, your breathing rate, these kinds of things that give oxygen to your heart, which allow you to, in the short term, deal with stress better. But that's not really what I'm talking about. When you don't have systems and processes, what I'm more concerned with when I look at our students and I look at people who join our programs and people who go to my events and these kinds of people, is that because of a lack of systems and processes, they're actually experiencing chronic stress, okay? And that is a completely different thing. Think of it like this. I think we all would agree that it's a good thing, like I do on a regular basis, to go for a run, okay? But if you ran 24 hours a day, it's not a good thing anymore. Like your knees are going to break down, your feet are going to break down, your legs are going to break down. It's not a good thing. And in the same way, stress was designed to actually help you and in the short term deal with problems and issues and these things. But because we have chronic stress, it becomes a bad thing. And this chronic stress, which is different than just stress, leads to anxiety and depression, leads to insomnia, leads to headaches, leads to not just overeating, but undereating, leads to alcohol and drug abuse, leads to social withdrawal, which is obviously for people in the type of business you're in, not a great thing, okay? But even more important than all of those, when you don't have systems and processes, which leads to chronic stress, what happens is that you actually have an increased chance of getting diseases like diabetes, the flu, many bad things that you don't want, okay? And the other thing that it does is it actually affects the amount of time that it takes you to recover from illness or even from injury or from, it's just not a great thing. And so we're gonna cover the financial stuff, but I feel like I'm not doing my job as a trainer, as a coach, by also not helping you understand that everything is not about money. There are other areas of your life that matter, and when you are not taking the time to set up the systems and processes that are needed for you to run your business like a business, the effects go far beyond financial, okay? Now, having said that, financial still matters. You know, I was doing an event the other day and someone came up to me afterwards and they said, you know, making money won't make you happy. And they were just all like in this, you know, upset about it. And I looked back at the lady and I said, ma'am, I'm fully aware of that, but neither will being broke, okay? Neither one of those are going to make you happy. So can we just get that to the side and understand that? I'm just going to tell you I've been broke and I've been not broke, and one of them is much easier than the other, okay? Now, there are other effects that this constant stress, which affects your health, have on your long-term stability as far as your wealth and your financial is concerned as well. Did you know a recent study came out and showed that when you retire, okay, people who are in their top 20% of their age group, when they retire, their average net savings, their average net worth, excluding their real estate holdings, is on average over $700,000, okay? People who retire, who are in the bottom 20% of their age group for health, have an average net savings beyond just real estate holdings and stuff of just over $200,000. So it's literally 3.5 times more when you are in that healthy bracket. Why does that happen? Because as I've kind of laid out here in this ladder right now, when you are healthy and you have less chronic stress, you have less disease, you have less medical bills that add up because of that, you are able to be more productive in your daily life. Now, I want to be very clear as well, there are some things that are 100% completely out of our control, okay? There are disease that comes, there are all these kind of things that are out of our control, but why wouldn't we do everything in our power, knowing the stats, to try to live a healthy lifestyle while also creating financial benefit for ourselves, our family, our long-term health, and our long-term wealth, if that is something that we're able to do, okay? So, what I'm going to talk to you about today is we're going to cover 5 rules that you want to follow for creating better systems in your real estate business, okay? These are going to be 5 rules. Now, understand that we cannot cover everything right now. It's not humanly possible. But for those of you that want a more detailed, you want a step-by-step, you want a screen share of how systems work in a real estate business, all you want to do, we're actually doing a free training coming up. Click right here. You can register. We have a free training coming up depending on when you're watching this. And if it's after that time, maybe we'll put up a replay or something if technology works right, but don't chance it. Make sure you register and you're there live. You can register right here. It's going to be on Thursday, July 14th at 2 different times, 1 p.m. Eastern and 9 p.m. Eastern. So regardless of where you're watching this right now around the world, because I know we get a lot of views all over the place, 1 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, both of those will be done live, okay? So you can pick which one works for you. If you're not sure, register for both. Get all your colleagues, your offices, all this. It's going to be very worthwhile. I'm going to have Mark Manahan with me, which was one of my original one-on-one coaching students when I was doing the one-on-one coaching. He's now one of our coaches. He does hundreds and hundreds of transactions every year. We're going to cover what a system is, what type you need. We're going to screen share and show you the back-end systems for his business so you can see exactly how it's done. Extremely worthwhile. This is going to be worthwhile too, but that's going to be like you want more in depth? Register for that, okay? So, let's cover the 5 rules for creating systems in your real estate business. Rule number 1. Anything that you do more than 3 times really deserves a system, okay? Now, if you just heard me say that, you're probably a little bit like me, and you go, where does this rule come from? And the truth of the matter is, I have no idea. Like, I've heard this over and over and over again. Anything you do more than 3 times, create a system. Anything you do, whatever. Whether it's 2 times, 4 times, 5 times, you get the overall point. We all kind of know when we're doing something over and over again, and it deserves a system, right? I mean, and this is not just in business, this is in your personal life too. I can remember coming home a couple of weeks ago, and we were rushing home trying to get home for this show that we love to watch, and my wife says to me, did you record it? And I was like, I don't know, I got to check, and I got on my app and whatever. And it occurred to me, I'm going, why are we trying to remember to record this all the time? So I jumped on my DVR on my app, and I set it up on a system where every time a new episode came on, regardless, it was recorded. That was a system in my personal life. And my question to you is, if systems are worthwhile in our personal life, wouldn't they be even more worthwhile in our professional life, which actually affords us the ability to have that TV, to buy cable, systems are worthwhile. And if you think you're not following, most people, by the way, are following some sort of a system. They're just unproductive systems, okay? So what we want to do is we want to tidy that up and start looking at what type of systems do we want to create. Let's go over a few of the type of systems. And again, we can't cover everything, but let's cover a few of the systems right now that you should be looking at that are very identifiable, they're very manageable, things you can do right now that deserve a system within your business, okay? So, what about things like messages to clients when they go under contract? These are things you're doing every single time. Depending on where you operate in the world, you're dealing with attorneys or title reps or inspections and financing contingencies and all these things that happen every single time and have set dates on the contract and have set. Why would you keep trying to do those over and over and over again and not just have a system set up in your CRM, we'll talk about that in a little bit, that is handled and done automatically, updates your clients automatically as to what's happening, what they can expect, creates expectation? Why would we not have that formulated already? Why would we not take the time? I tell our students all the time, you don't remember what you've forgotten. Okay? And so the moment you start living in a world where your business operates, your business makes more money based on the idea that you sell activities for a certain time, a certain amount of minutes, as soon as you start selling minutes, you are no longer scalable. You've pretty much hit a ceiling because there's only so many minutes in a day. I say it all the time, whether you're the president of the free world, whether you're the person who cuts his or her bushes, whether you're me, whether you're you get 1,440 minutes in every single day. And the moment that you start selling minutes, you've already peaked. You're done. There's nothing else you're going to be able to do. So that's one area where you can do it. What about things like follow up with your leads, okay? This one's pretty standard, but it's amazing to me how many people don't have systems. Not only do they not have systems, automated systems that go out for 2 years because of the lifespan of a lead right now. And by the way, a lot of you hear that. There's a lot of this thing in the industry where people hear automation and they get upset and they're like, oh my God, there can't be automation. Automation is terrible. It's human interaction. Part of your automation is not just an email that goes out that sounds human, is short and whatever, but part of that automation is also reminders that come up to you, okay? Reminders that pop up to you and tell you exactly who you're supposed to call, exactly what you're supposed to say, exactly. That's what part of what automation does, okay? You should be able to open up your CRM and every day, because of the systems you have set up, it tells you who you're supposed to contact, what you're supposed to say, because it's not just automated emails for 2 years, okay? And by the way, after those 2 years, a new system should kick in, and they should be dropped into a different bucket or a different type of action plan that does a different kind of follow-up on not as often of a basis, depending on how hot of a cold or a lead. That's all part of a system. But human contact is part of a system too. I did a video recently where I think it was called 3 + 3 = 16 million. Is that what it was? And are you able to link up to it? If not, I'll just give you guys a thumbs up because it was a good video. And in that video, I talked about how as much as I do a lot of things that scale and I have to automate and whatever, I focus on things that are that actually compound. That's what it was. It was focused on things that actually compound, okay? And I talked about how, for example, just before I got on this and started shooting this video, I was responding to people on Snapchat. And some of them I was responding in 3 seconds. And I'm going like, oh, thank you so much. That means the world to me. Oh, here's the answer to your question. Oh, and I'm doing that. And they're taking 3 seconds, 7 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it is. And I'm doing that because I understand that I have to do things that compound. And those 4 seconds are actually going to equal so much more than 4 seconds should equal because I personally responded. Okay, and it's why I personally respond to every single person who sends me a message on Snapchat. And it's why no matter how big your business gets and no matter how systematized your business gets, you still have to have as part of your systems the reminders, the pop-ups that remind you to do something that compounds, okay, that compound interest effect, which is to actually pick up the phone, let them hear a voice, to shoot a video, to do these types of things that are not just automated, okay? What about when you're following up with your clients from home anniversaries or birthdays or major events or whatever it happens to be? Again, you don't remember what you've forgotten. You should have a system that reminds you when every single one of your clients has their home anniversary, gives you a reason to call them, something to follow up and say, how's it going there? And, you know, just talk to them about something. On their birthday, on their there has to be a system in place or that won't happen. What about your systems for marketing, right? I always tell people that every day that you are not doing something that has the potential to create business is a day you're closer to going out of business, okay? I put up a thing on Instagram recently. I'm at Jared James Today, if you want to follow on that. And I put up a thing on Instagram recently where I said, do you know the difference between busyness, B-U-S-I, and business, B-U-S-Y, business and busyness? Because one will bring you new business and will bring you income and bring you revenue, and the other one will just make you tired. They're two completely different things, okay? So when you start looking at your marketing and how your systems work within your marketing. We teach our students things like the new listing prospecting letter, the buyer's offer not accepted letter, and all of these different campaigns that work to create listings, work to create new buyers, work to create new business. But the important thing is not just to know how they work, but to actually create a system by which every time a listing comes up and a search is triggered, it goes over to you, your assistant, your virtual assistant. They're able to plug in that address, pull up the nearest 50 or 100 houses, and the marketing campaign goes out automatically. If you take the time to set it up right now, you will reap the benefits from it for the next 5, 10, 15 years when you really understand it. Do you have a system in place even for your geographic farming? If you're doing a quarterly campaign, why are you waiting until that quarter to go, do I have time or do I not have time? Because many of us are running our marketing in a way that says, well, if I'm already busy, I don't have time to do that, but that's okay because I'm busy. And then other times, oh my God, I have time, so I guess I can do my marketing is supposed to happen regardless. Without marketing, you don't have new revenue, you don't have new business. This is why so many people feel like they're doing great in this industry and they're crazy and they're busy, and then they close a bunch of deals and they wake up the next morning and it's crickets. And they're like, what's going on here? Like, how come I don't have more business? And these kinds of things are happening. And it's because we're not preparing and not understanding the cyclical nature of this business that it's gone like that. Some of you do a lot of transactions and then you wake up one day, there's no transactions. And even though you've done hundreds of transactions, you have the thought in your head, will I ever do another one? Because you're not sure where it's coming from, because you're not running a predictable business that has systems and processes that don't just include the processes that go on throughout your day, but also include your marketing. What about online lead generation? Do you realize that's a system? We have a marketing department that actually creates seller leads for people all day, every day, whether they're sleeping, whether they're awake, okay? Having an ad set up that is very specific and leads to a landing page where people go and put in their information, and the lead is created for a potential seller, and it's sent to you, and it's automatically added to a follow-up process over the next 2 years, and you're reminded that's a system. Lead generation, when done like that, is a system. And you know why it's a system? Because it's not taking manual labor from you to do it every day. If you go on vacation, if you stay home, if you go to the beach, if you go to the restroom, if you go to look at whatever, it's happening. That's what a system does for you, okay? So there's many different things we can talk here. Register for the webinar, and we'll get into much more details. But let's talk about the second rule. You've got to have the right tools in order to have the right systems, okay? Now, a lot of times people hate this, and they're like, well, you're just trying to sell us something, and you're trying to get us to use this one, and you're trying to get us to use... Look, guys, I don't care what you use, but you have to have the right tools, okay? Am I just trying to sell you something when I tell you if you're a buyer's agent in real estate, you should have a car? Like, it just makes your job easier. Like, you should wear shoes to your job. That's something you should have. That's going to make your job easier. I should get a camera and a mic to do this show. It's going to make our lives a lot easier. There are tools that are going to make your life easier, okay? Now, do you have to have a car? I guess not. I mean, if you want to show up on a public bus to show somebody houses, go for it. You could probably do it. There's a certain amount of hustle in that. I can respect that for a certain amount of time. But I'm just promising you that if you have take a public bus to work real estate type of career, it's going to be a tough ride, okay? There are things that make your life easier. Having a CRM is one of them, okay? It's not having a CRM in the real estate business is insanity. Because that's where your systems are set up. That's where your contacts are in. And by the way, a CRM is more than an online Rolodex, okay? That's where your systems actually come from. That's the platform that every day you're in there. I tell people that having a real estate business without a CRM, a contact relationship manager, or a customer relationship manager is like having a car without wheels, okay? There are certain things you can do in that car. You can sit back and take a nap. You can listen to the radio, but you're never going to go anywhere. That's what it's like. You are going to hit a peak. There's only so far you can go without having proper systems because, again, all you're really doing is selling blocks of time, and there's only so much of that time, okay? I can lose money and gain it back. I cannot lose time and gain it back, okay? Third rule, don't wait until you need systems to set up systems. Chances are if you did that, you waited too long, it's too late. You should still set up your systems, but it's too long. It's almost like we did one of these episodes on when and how to hire a real estate assistant, and someone asked, when is the right time? And I said the right time to hire an assistant is right before you need an assistant, okay? So you can actually take the time to train them and get them in the right ways. And it's the same thing when it comes to systems. The right time to set up systems is as soon as you're done watching this video and you're done connecting with me and registering for the webinar, that's when you need to go set up systems. Don't wait. Now, is it fun? No. Setting up your systems is one of the most unsexy things you're going to do within your business, but it's one of the most necessary. We tell people when they sign up for one-on-one coaching with us, I do a lot of the consults, and I tell these people, look, I just want you to know you're talking to me, you're excited, you're ready, but what we're actually going to do that's going to create the success you want long-term is going to be stuff you don't want to do. And it's very unsexy, and you've been avoiding it, and it's not fireworks, it's not whatever, but it's what needs to be done. And when you think about the building of a house, probably the longest, most unsexy, most unfun thing to do is to build that foundation. In fact, in many cases, they're going to take siding and go right over it. You're not even going to look at it. And the most important part of that house, you're not even going to see. And yet, that's what's going to hold that house up for the next 50, 100, 150 years. And the same thing goes for your real estate business. It may not be the thing everybody sees every day. It may not be the fun thing to do. It may not be the cool thing to do. But your systems in your business are what you have to take time right now to start setting up, okay? It's just, and if you're having issues getting motivated to do that, I want you to leverage what I call the law of contrast, okay? Whenever I don't want to do something in my life that I know is necessary, I use the law of contrast, and this is a little sick, but I get morbid because it makes me move. And I'm talking in anything. If I'm going for a run and I want to stop, even though I know my body could keep going, but I want to stop, I will actually have the thought in my head, what if me not continuing to run until I got home meant that one of my kids was going to get seriously injured? Would you stop running? And in my head, I'm like, no, I would absolutely keep running. Well, then I guess you can keep running. It's sick, but I think like that, okay? We talked earlier about by how not having systems, what it can do to your health and your stress and your chronic stress and whatever. Get morbid. Instead of waiting until all that stress adds up and you get some kind of disease or something that could have been avoided or whatever, go there in your head right now and just kind of say, okay, if I found out tomorrow I had this and it came from constant stress and chronic stress and whatever, would I not do everything in my power if it would go away, if I would just go create my systems? And the answer is yes, you would. So my message to you is don't wait. Do it now. Create the contrast. Go there in your head, no matter how morbid it is, and go do it now, okay? The fourth rule, if you want to create better systems in your real estate business, is kind of a two-way rule here. You must commit, and then you must get your people, if you have them, to commit. Now, here's what I mean. When I say you must commit, you've got to understand you're not just creating systems because you're trying to make more money and it's for you or your future team or whatever, and you know that you should have them, and so you're just you have to commit, which means you have to buy in, which means you have to follow them every single day. Because if you don't follow them, you can't expect the people you bring on or the people you already have on your team, your brokerage, whatever, to also follow it. I believe you can't lead people to a place you haven't been. Okay? So if you're starting a team or you have a team and you've got that one top producer who sits there and goes, well, I'm not doing this. This is the way I've always done it. You can't expect them to commit when you yourself are not committing on the level that you know you need to commit. Okay? And the fifth rule, for creating better systems. You've already kind of heard this, but it's just going to give me the ability to get much more hands-on with you and practical. I want you guys to go right now, and I want you to not only register for the free training we're doing here, and again, it's going to be on July 14th at 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern. 2 different options. Pick which one works for you. Register for both if you're not sure. But I want you to register. I want you to get your colleagues to register. I want you to get your whole office. Get everyone you can on there. It's going to be 100% worth it. And like I said, very tangible, very practical, very hands-on. And I can promise you this. You won't regret registering and being there. You will regret not registering and not being there, okay? Register, give me an hour of your time. Like, during that time, turn off all your stuff and pay attention. I want to help you. And we do this with thousands of people already, all right, guys? So if you're doing this right now, I want you to do a couple things. Register for that. I want you to go and connect with me. If you register, go to Connect with Jared right now, connectwithjared.com. Send me a message on Snapchat. Let me know you registered. I want to hear from you. I want to know that you're on there. But when you go to that link, you can connect with me on whichever platforms you happen to be on. I do different things on every single platform. I want you to like this video. Leave a comment. And like I said earlier, it's free, guys. Subscribe. There's a ton of really cool stuff that comes out from here that I think you're really going to enjoy. And last but not least, if you're watching this and you know you need better systems to go where it is that you want to go, whether you're new, whether you're a top producer but know you could be doing more, let's do a consult about one-on-one coaching, okay? So click right here to sign up for a consult. I will personally do the consult with you. It's going to be a video call. There's no, there's no pressure or anything like that. We're going to chat, see if it's a good fit. I can't wait to have you guys on there. I can't wait to connect with you. Hopefully you got a ton of value out of this, guys. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Hey there, you, and I am talking to you in particular, person that made it to the end of my video. It means the world to me. But if you made it to the end, I'm hoping that you'll take a second and subscribe right here. Make sure you share that with all your friends, by the way. They're in real estate, sales, entrepreneurial, whatever it happens to be. By the way, if you're looking for a speaker for your upcoming event, click right here to get some more information. And as usual, if you have a question you want me to personally respond, just connect on social. You can click right over here and see all the platforms I'm on. I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great one.